Hello everyone, and thank you to being here. Today I will to present you a customer project related to the place that hosts Alberton School in Rodez. To begin, I introduce myself. I'm Thomas, student C23 in Alberton School. Mainly interested in backend and front-end development. I decided to lead this project in collaboration with Alan, the owner of La Station, the place that welcomed us. I took care of the entire development, which includes setting up the front-end interface using Bootstrap, ensuring the site is fully responsive on different devices and screen size, developing backend logic, database management, and ensuring a smooth user experience. This project was born during a discussion with Alan, who wanted to increase the visibility of his company and consequently promote its development. La Station offers various activities such as a restaurant, a bar to relax, and a co-working space and other events. Together, we have defined the features that could be put in place to increase the visibility of the company, like manage active users on the co-working site and promote the various events organized. I took this opportunity to embark on this project, which I will present to you. First of all, let me tell you about the technology I used to carry out this project. Node.js, used for the backend development, Node.js allowed me to manage the connection to a database and integrate customer data efficiently and securely. Next.js, for the front-end part, I choose Next.js, a powerful React framework for the development of web application, which I had never used before. Bootstrap, I also used the Bootstrap framework. Bootstrap helped me to create an attractive and responsive user interface quickly. MongoDB, finally, for the storage of the customer information, I opt for MongoDB. This NoSQL database is ideal for managing unstructured data and offers great flexibility in document management. I will present you an extract of front-end and back-end code to manage the reset of a user password. When a user arrives at the password reset page, encoded in HTML and JavaScript, he enters the email address associated with his account. When he submits a request is sent to the IPE, which will manage the different steps that I will present to you. You have here the connection to the database, user share by email and verification of the existence of the user, generate a reset token, save the reset token in a database, create a reset password URL, formatting date and time, sending the email reset password, and return the answer. Here you will find the chronology of the project, includes the following step: reflection on the idea of the project, installation and learning of the technology to be used, start of development with a focus on the front end, addition of backend logic and connection to a database, optimization and various tests, and finally, the finalization of the development until today, day of the demonstration. About the challenge, I have identified and divided them into two categories: technical risk and no technical risk. One of the main technical risks concerns the protection of user personal information. To mitigate this risk, I choose to hash the password stored in the database and not to integrate sensitive information. It was crucial that the site could be use on both computer and mobile phone, so I optimized the design to make it fully responsive, ensuring a smooth user experience on all platforms. Finally, to finish on the technical risk, I had to make sure that only coworkers could register on the site. So I integrate a single-use code required during registration. These measures make it possible to control access and maintain the security on the network of coworkers. And now about no technical risk. There has been the constraint of time to be able to produce a viable and functional project, and the reflection to ensure highlight the most relevant information that respond to the problem that I was able to establish with Alan. Now I see you live demo. I will log with my account with admin role and all the privilege. You are here the main page with different information. The menu available to connected user offer several dedicated features such as calendar to add appointments of or over, messaging, redirect to a WhatsApp group dedicated to coworker, and the user profile, which allows the modification of personal information. Then the admin panel accessible only to users with admin role, which allow user management that list user and allow the admin to modify information such first name, surname, and email address. The manage of upcoming event display on the home page, and the creation of a single user registration code for new coworker requested during registration. I will show how to add event display on the home page. I delete previously event. And now the event is accessible for all users. In conclusion, I'm extremely satisfied to have been able to carry out this project in collaboration with Alan. This experience allowed me to become familiar with new technologies previously unknown and to adopt a new way of working. Thank you for your attention. Do you have any question?
Time for questions now, please.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, so first of all, the website looks really nice. How did you take inspiration for it?
I have started with I have step by step, and I have build step by step. Other question?
Question. I have a technical question. Why do you use Next.js with a Node.js server? That Next.js includes a Node server in it. why we have the Next.js and not React and another Node.js server.
Alors,
Tu veux qu'on switch en français?
ouais, si c'est possible.
Oui,
Bon, du coup, au début de commencer le projet, je connaissais pas du tout toutes ces technologies que j'ai utilisées là. Et on m'a conseillé, du coup, pour le back-end, d'utiliser Next.js et de faire avec Node.js pour tout ce qui était la partie front-end.
Ok. C'est juste en fait la question que Next.js, la promesse qu'ils ont fait, comment s'appelle l'entreprise derrière, j'ai oublié, et c'est qu'en fait, il y a le serveur qui est inclus déjà dans Next.js. En fait, il y a le serveur qui existe. Pour moi, en fait, il fallait pas mettre un autre serveur en Node ou autre chose, parce qu'en fait, les deux coexistent.
D'accord.
En même temps, c'est juste en fait, c'est pour ça la deuxième question que je vais poser, pourquoi Bootstrap? Si aujourd'hui, on sait que Bootstrap, ça commence à être un peu outdated, on passe à des choses beaucoup plus légères comme Tailwind CSS et des choses comme ça qui sont beaucoup plus faciles à intégrer au niveau des navigateurs avec le WebKit 4 et des choses comme ça.
Alors, quand j'ai commencé la programmation plus jeune, j'avais fait mes débuts avec Bootstrap et j'avais beaucoup aimé l'utilisation et j'avais déjà quelques bases par rapport aux classes, tout ça. Donc, c'est pour ça que j'ai fait le choix d'utiliser Bootstrap.
En fait, tu as parlé de l'authentification avec le token, mais tu n'as pas dit c'était quoi le token?
Pour éviter que n'importe qui puisse s'enregistrer au sein du site et uniquement les coworkers présents sur place, il fallait que je trouve un moyen de limiter en gros le fait de pouvoir s'enregistrer. Donc du coup, j'ai créé un générateur qui crée un code unique que du coup le patron Alan donne à chaque nouveau coworker. Et au moment de leur inscription, ils rentrent ce token et il se supprime automatiquement après.
Oui, en fait, ce que je voulais dire, c'est que le type de token, parce qu'on a des tokens GWT et on peut aussi faire l'authentification avec le zéro auth. Donc, vous avez utilisé le GWT pour la génération des tokens?
Non.
Tu veux que je refasse ma question en français du coup?
Ah oui, je veux bien.
Donc, je te disais que le design de ton site, il était sympa, mais comment t'en es venu à ce point-là, à cette présentation? Voilà.
Alors du coup, ce que j'avais essayé de dire en anglais, c'est que j'ai commencé par tout ce qui était header et footer. J'ai rajouté après ce que je voulais dans mes pages et j'ai vraiment fait étape par étape pour construire vraiment le site que c'est aujourd'hui. Voilà. Après, il y a eu beaucoup de travail derrière. Mais voilà, ça c'est un mur de briques que j'ai monté petit à petit, où j'ai essayé d'optimiser le plus possible pour que ce soit agréable à l'œil. Et voilà.
On attend pour une question encore, je pense.
Et en fait, c'était quoi vraiment le challenge que vous avez trouvé au cours du projet?
Alors, il fallait avant tout mettre en avant par rapport au code ou le concept même du site.
C'est comme tu veux.
On va pouvoir faire les deux. Par rapport au code, ce qui m'a posé le plus de problèmes, j'ai utilisé Nextauth pour l'authentification et j'ai eu beaucoup de mal à le mettre en place. Donc j'ai passé au moins une semaine à vraiment arriver à intégrer les sessions, tout ça. Et après, par rapport au site en lui-même, il fallait que le site, il fallait que les gens aient une visibilité rapide de toutes les activités, tout ce que pouvait proposer le bar, et en particulier les événements qui sont importants.
tu gères des données utilisateurs, alors t'as pas grand chose effectivement, mais t'as quand même le nom, prénom et l'adresse des gens. J'ai vu que t'avais un bouton pour supprimer le compte des gens. Comment tu gères les aspects RGPD? Question très bête, mais tu verras que celle-là, il faut faire attention.
Oui. Alors justement, ça c'est vrai que pour le moment, je ne me suis pas tant concentré sur ça. Par la suite, on verra, parce qu'il y a beaucoup de chemin à faire jusqu'à là, mais si on déploie le site, et c'est vrai que ça c'est quelque chose à prendre en compte, que pour le moment, j'ai pas vraiment... voilà, mais ça fait partie d'un frein, entre guillemets, quand on sait tout ce qu'il y a par rapport aux données et à ce qu'il faut respecter aujourd'hui.
Je ne sais pas si on peut donner là, des feedbacks ou c'est juste...
Vous pouvez commencer à donner quelques feedbacks et sinon on a encore le temps pour quelques questions. Des petits feedbacks, oui.
Moi, en fait, ce que j'ai vu, que tu n'as pas parlé du tout du langage. Est-ce que tu as utilisé JavaScript, TypeScript
Alors,
en fait, tu es rentré dans les frameworks,
ouais.
sachant que tu n'as pas vraiment parlé de ce que tu as codé comme langage.
Ouais. Alors du coup, je vais directement vous montrer, peut-être que ça sera... alors,
En fait, je ne me suis pas fait comprendre.
par rapport à
Non, en fait, c'est ici. En fait,
ce
j'étais
code
là.
snippet, oui.
En fait, j'étais là, j'étais en train de regarder. Ok, en fait, c'est un composant avec un logique backend pour générer un type de
Alors,
token. Et après, quand on est passé à la démo,
oui.
on est passé vraiment au site. Dire qu'en fait, le site c'est comme ça, en fait, il y a ces boutons. Et
Alors,
j'étais un peu perdu. Pourquoi il m'a montré ça?
La démo est plus globale que cet extrait-là. Elle n'est pas forcément reliée.
Oui, alors le code qu'on a parlé pour... le mot de passe.
Ok, il n'y a pas de. Pour moi, en fait, j'ai attendu de voir, en fait, ok, il m'a mis en avant un code.
Oui.
Nous, en fait, les devs, des fois, en fait,
l'application de ce
on dit, ok, c'est ça mon design pattern pour ce problème. Je le montre aux gens pour dire, ok, en fait, j'ai réglé un problème, un souci. Et en fait, on est passé de ça, en fait, j'étais concentré sur, ok, il y a quoi de nouveau, il y a quoi de.
En fait, moi aussi, c'est ce que j'ai pas compris, c'est que tu parlais de NextEarth, alors que voilà, il y a déjà la partie Node, il y a le fichier là, backend. Moi aussi, j'ai pas vraiment compris pourquoi on a utilisé Node et...
Oui, en fait, c'est juste un feedback. Après, enfin, je dis que je faisais pas mal des salons de présenter des solutions. En fait, c'est quand tu montres aux devs, aux gens techniques, de bout de code ou des technologies, ils attendent de voir comment en fait eux ils ont le même problème et comment je l'ai réglé. De passer à ça, dire ok, il y a ça et après passer à autre chose, en fait les gens seront perdus. Je dis ok, pourquoi il m'a montré le code, finalement on a passé à autre chose. C'est tout.
Après, ça, c'est vraiment le code pour la partie réinitialisation de mot de passe.
Oui.
Et le code me plaisait. Et après, je peux peut-être vous montrer. Je ne sais pas si ça répondra vraiment à la problématique, mais voilà, quand un utilisateur veut réinitialiser son mot de passe, quand il clique sur du coup envoyer le lien de réinitialisation, alors il va falloir que.
Normalement, il va recevoir un mail avec.
Voilà, c'est ça, oui. Hop. Voilà, on reçoit un mail avec du coup la réinitialisation du mot de passe et dans le lien, je peux même cliquer directement dessus. Voilà, dans le lien qui est généré, il y a ce token qui est unique pour.
Il est unique pendant combien de temps?
J'ai mis à un quart d'heure.
Ok. Et
Voilà.
comment tu gères que, en fait, si je viens après un quart d'heure?
C'est par rapport à la date. On va le reprendre. Ici, vous avez. Je formate la date.
Grandir un peu, que je reçois.
Oui, pardon. Là, ici, voilà, je récupère la date et l'heure. Et le token, du coup, qui est généré, il s'ajoute à la base de données pour l'utilisateur en question, avec la date et l'heure. Et si la date, elle expire ou qu'elle est dépassée, l'utilisateur, il ne peut pas réinitialiser son compte.
Ok. Enfin, c'est le. Moi, je dis que c'est comme ça on fait toujours, mais là, en fait, dans ce code, je ne vois pas où tu vérifies l'authenticité de ce token par rapport au temps. En fait,
Alors, non, ça, c'est la partie où il génère, donc jusqu'au moment où il appuie sur envoyer le lien de réinitialisation. Et ensuite, quand on accède à la page grâce au lien, voilà. Et donc là, ici, il y a une autre logique qui, à ce moment-là, vérifie si le token est valide et si la date n'a pas expiré.
Ok, ça marche. Parfait.
Voilà.
Merci.
Je vais vous couper, on a plus le
On
temps.
est à la fin du temps, ouais.
Et,
Ok.
merci Thomas.
Merci.
Merci Thomas.
Merci à vous.
Hello everyone, I'm Samantha Jouni from C23. Sorry. Hello everyone, I'm Samantha Jouni from C23 and I'm going to present you Beat the Goblin, a gamification website designed to make daily task management more engaging and rewarding. 2 years ago, I was a depressed and burnout PhD candidate struggling with a never-ending to-do list. This personal experience inspired me to create a solution to help others in similar situations. That's why I imagined and developed this website. My role encompasses everything from the initial planning phase to the deployment. My idea is to make task management more engaging and less overwhelming through gamification. The goal is to nudge the user toward accomplishing their daily tasks without punishing them in case of failure. For this project, I had approximately 8 weeks. I decided to approach the development like making a sandwich. I started by front static in React. Then I built a database based on UML design I planned. And then I implement every feature in the middle, connecting the two by different functions I'm going to show you later. Refining them based on personal testing. I had few challenging during that time. They can be put in 2 categories. The first one is time management. I tend to be easily sidetracked and to procrastinate essential tasks by implementing not essential implementations. So, to overcome this, I decided to implement a strict schedule and using my own app. The other main issues was technical hurdle. We all know that when things are not functioning as expected, it can be a bit frustrating. But very interesting, especially for a learner like me. To overcome this, I decided to learn how to use debuggers and to break my problem into smaller, more manageable parts. In choosing what technology to use, I wanted to balance learning new skills with efficient time management, while being conscious about performance, scalability, and ease of deployment. On the client side, I decided to learn something new, React with TypeScript. It ensures a smooth and interactive experience for the user, which is nice for gamification system. Behind the scene, Nginx serves as a robust web server and reverse proxy. It handles incoming requests and distributes them to the application server. Then, Unicorn manages multiple worker processes to handle concurrent connection, improving performance and scalability. For the backend, I choose to deepen my knowledge in Flask and Python, which allow me for rapid development and easy customization. Finally, SQLite serves as a database as it's a self-contained solution. So here is the architecture I mentioned earlier. So React communicates with the backend through API calls and fetching the data from the Flask application. Flask handles this request, processing them with the help of Unicorn for improved performance and concurrency. And Nginx acts as the entry point, serving as a reverse proxy. It efficiently routes the request directly to the content request, directly to the appropriate file, while forwarding the dynamic request to Unicorn. So this step is set up to optimize resources utilization and enhance security. And lastly, Flask interacts with the SQLite to store and retrieve the data. So let's see what's all about. My website is divided into 2 parts. You have the user interface and a map. The map is currently an implementation, so I will focus on the user interface. On the left, you have your user data, which include streaks and reward system, which are currently placeholder for future implementation, and a deadline. I'm going to start by customizing the deadline for time management. So on the left, you have your grimoire, which is a fancy name for task manager, in which you can add, edit, and reorder your tasks depending of what you want to do. You can also use the menu to delete the said tasks. Oh, sorry. Speaking of menu, you can see it also allows the user to give characteristics to the tasks, which will influence the game system or the recurrency of the said tasks. You can, of course, check the boxes and uncheck them in case of time management. Okay, so the deadline occurred before I could check all my tasks. So now I have two options. The first one is a Pomodoro page to help the user overcoming procrastination by giving them a motivational boost. The other option is briefing exercise based on coherence cardiac, which will help the user overcome fear of unfinished tasks. Now, let's see what's happened. Okay? Yeah, so I started the coherence cardiac exercise, which adds 30 minutes to the deadline, giving the user time to finish their few tasks remaining. Back to the presentation. Oh, sorry, I have mouse issues. Here you come. Here is a code snippet for the deadline implementation. This code uses Flask to retrieve the user deadline. It's a secure route that requires user login and checked the user's default deadline in the database. If the user hadn't set up a deadline, it's 8 p.m. by default. Then the code verified whether the user had completed a Pomodoro session of a breathing exercise today. If they have, it extends the deadline by 30 minutes as a reward and to help them overcome the goblin. The final deadline is sent back to the user. This implementation tries to follow best practices like secure authentication, effective database management, and error handling. Overall, I tried to code as clean, efficiently, and robustly as I could in my level. Through this project, I learned a new framework and to code in a new language. I also discovered an interest in front development, particularly in user experience and accessibility. I also gained a deeper understanding of what being a full-stack developer is by learning about best practices and debugs, among other things, of course. Looking ahead, I'm planning to deploy this website because it's currently not. But beforehand, I want to implement several features, such as a streak and reward system to engage the user, difficulty management to give more options, and a weekly task manager using the map I showed you. On the long run, I'm also toying with the idea to make it a mobile app, but it will be far ahead in the future. To conclude, this project has been a journey of growth and learning for me, and I want to continue developing it and refining it along with my skills. Moreover, the fact that I'm building a technical solution that can possibly impact people's life is a nice bonus. Thank you.
Time for questions. Thank you. Thank you very much. It was very great.
I have two questions. I need a
Sorry.
microphone. I'm coming from a Python background as a developer for the last 5 years. The first question, why did you choose Flask? And the second question, why didn't you use an ORM, an object manager relation?
I choose to learn Flask because it's something we saw in earlier project with the school, and I was a bit worried that in the time space we were allocated for the project, I would not, if I wanted to cram too many new things, I would not be able to code in the short time frame we have. So I decided to pick something I already basically knew, and I didn't choose to code in object-oriented objection because I wanted to break. I want to say I wanted to break the rules, but it's very like we did code in object orienting during our previous project, and I wanted to try something new, explore what I could or could not do with Python. So that's why I decided to not use it.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Other questions?
I have a question about map.
Yeah.
You mentioned map. Could you tell us about this?
Yeah, I'm going to show you because it's easier to have. I'm going to show you because it's easier to have a visual representation. My idea with the map is to use it as a planar. Like for instance, each location will have a specific day. So let's say the tower will be Monday, and when the user click on the tower, they will be able to customize their Monday's to-do lists, like to give them 6 days ahead for planning, but also schedule recurrent tasks that will not be daily, but like hebdomadaires. Sorry, I'm not sure. So that's the idea. So yes, that's the idea to implement it like this. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So hello everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Today I'm going to present to you my project Assistez. But first, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Johan and I work independently on this project. So I took on a wide range of responsibilities, from developing both back and front end, as well as designing the application, and also self-manage and playing each stage of the development process. But before showing you my project, I will define to you what is a doll. A doll is a daily game where the player has to guess something specific. The most popular example is Wordle. In Wordle, you guess a daily word based on the feedback of each attempt you made. But my big inspiration for this project was Lordle, which challenged players to guess a character from a popular franchise, in this case League of Legends. And unlike Wordle, there are many game modes to complete each day. My friends and I loved the concept, so I decided to bring it to another world, the world of fighting games. So as you guessed it, Assistez is an online trivia game for fighting game fans. Unlike other games of the same genre, I introduced some unique game mode like a blind test or a video-based challenge. And also I wanted Assistez to be more than just a guessing game, but more a celebration to the fighting game culture. So I introduced an achievement system and a leaderboard one.
let's take a quick overview of the development process. I started with the conception phase where I decided the core elements of the application. Then I split the development in two different parts, the front and the back end. I implemented user logics and email verification because only logged user can access to the achievement, but all users can access the game. And then I developed simultaneously game logics and game UI as well as the achievement and the leaderboard at the end. Here's the architecture. For the front end, I used React.js for a fast interactive interface. I used Node.js and Express to develop the API. And I used MongoDB to store characters and character traits, achievements and score, and user as well. And I used Mongoose as an object relational mapping to keep the data clear and organized and easy to manage. But to be simple, my user will interact with the game interface, which will send a request to my API. And then my API will process the request by retrieving or updating some data from my database and send it back to the user. Here's the code snippet I chose. I implemented a function that sets a unique character each day in minigame mode every midnight using Node cron for schedule updates. The system will check first if there a character of the day record. If not, it will create one. Then it will count how many unique characters there is in my database. Because to avoid repetition, the system keeps tracks of a list of characters that already have been selected. So if there are fewer names on the list than zero character, everything will run perfectly fine. But if there are as many names on the list that zero character, it will just reset everything's done and start the cycle again. So here everything will run perfectly fine. So it will create a list of characters excluding those that have already been selected and picks one at random. So in this case, it will pick Ryu. And as it picks a new character, it will write his ID on this list, so it cannot be chosen before the cycle starts again. So here's a quick demo. So through this demo, I will first log in myself. Here. So I get an achievement for loading myself for the first time. So let's go and clear all the game. So here I'll go with a random one because we need to start somewhere. So here we can see that I have 3 traits in common with my character of the day. So I can easily guess what is the character of the day and I get an achievement for completing the game for the first time. Then I can go to the next game. So I will show the video before explaining it. So here the user has to guess if the next phase of the combat will kill the opponent or not. And I will choose it. But for demonstration purposes, I will just reload the page. So here we guessed it. Here I need to guess a character based on the images that represent it. Okay, so I guessed it too. And finally, the blind test. So the player can interact with the lecture. So I'm very bad at it, so I will try. Okay. So when all game modes are complete, the user can still check the achievement if he's logged. Here we can see that he got all the achievements and is placed on the leaderboard. So we get first place. Let's go back to the presentation. Perfect. So throughout the development of SFDOL, I faced several challenges. Firstly, of course, learning new technologies such as React. I struggled initially with with a concept like states in React, managing complex states using ZooStand for efficient state handling. was very difficult at the beginning, and it requires a deep understanding of React hooks and the Stance API. Additionally, UX and UI design was a totally strange concept for me, and it was its own set of difficulties. Creating an appealing and user-friendly interface without design experience was for me the most difficult part. Deployment has been a key consideration throughout the development. I researched platforms like GitHub Pages, Heroku, Netlify, Vercel to find the best fit for SFDL. But in my opinion, the application lacks core features before getting deployed. But once it's set up, I will go on a continuous deployment pipeline to make sure that that next updates are deployed automatically. So this project has been a fantastic learning experience. I've proven my skills a lot. I've also developed a stronger appreciation for UX and UI design, seeing how crucial it is for a user for having a good design for the user engagement. And I plan to build on these skills. To wrap up, SFDL has been a highly educational and a fulfilling project. Developing it has given me hands-on experience in developing a full-stack application from concept to near completion. And this is just the beginning for SFDL. I'm planning to reach member of the FGC, the fighting game community, which is a passionate group of players, to get feedback on the application for the deployment. Thank you so much for your attention today, and please feel free to ask any questions.
So thank you. Just out of curiosity, how can you add new content? Like I know Street Fighters can publish new characters from time to time, and do you have to hard code everything or?
So I don't know what you mean by hard code it, but if I need to add a new character, for example, I have a JSON file that represents all my database, so I just had to update the JSON file and add the new characters.
Thank you very much for this presentation. What is the tool that you use to design the site?
So I used many different tools. For certain component, I use Tailwind CSS, but not for all component, of course. I use some free online website to do some button or some animation for the button, and that's all. Sinon, c'est HTML and CSS. No other questions? Okay.